Good morning and welcome to the Daily Light Devotion. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Tuesday and looking forward to today. That is the 8th of April. Today we're going to start the book of Ruth, chapter 1, and tomorrow we'll finish the book of Ruth. We'll cover 5 chapters tomorrow, the rest for remaining 5. But today we're just looking at Ruth chapter 1. Then we'll look at, in the New Testament, we'll look at Luke chapter 11, 29, verses 29 to 54. In Ruth 1, the theme is faith in loss and power of commitment. Ruth 1 begins, chapter 1 begins with a time of famine, of hardship during the period of Judges. A family leaves Bethlehem seeking survival but instead faces deep loss. Naomi loses her 2 sons and her husband, leaving her with her daughter-in-laws in grief and uncertainty. This chapter is a story of loss, decision, commitment, and hope of beginning. Evil in sorrow, God is still working. So Ruth chapter 1 verses 1 to 5. Naomi family moves to Moab because of famine, but things go from bad to worse. Her husband dies, her sons marry Moabite woman. Both sons die. Naomi is left with empty, broken, and without support. She even says, "The Lord has dealt bitterly with me." In moments of deep loss, it may feel like God is absent, but He is still present. Jesus understands suffering and grief. He enters into our pain and walks in with us through it. Even when life feels empty, God is still working behind the scenes. Verses 6 to 18, Naomi's decision to return to Bethlehem and tell her daughter-in-laws to go back. Opera leaves, but Ruth makes a decision, powerful declaration. "Wherever you go, I will go. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." Ruth chooses loyalty over comfort, faith over familiarity, God over her past. Ruth's commitment reflects the heart of true discipleship. Jesus calls us to follow him and fully surrender. Just as Ruth chose Naomi's God, we are called to choose Jesus fully, right? True faith is seen in commitment even when the future is uncertain. Ruth chapter verses 19 to 22. Naomi returns to Bethlehem and says, "Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara." She feels empty, but sometimes important is happening. Something important is happening. They arrive at the beginning of the barley harvest. This is a quiet sign of hope and provision. What feels like an ending is often the beginning of God's restoration. Jesus brings hope into empty places. He turns bitterness into blessing over time. God is always working, even when we cannot see the outcome. God is present even in seasons of loss. Faith requires commitment, not convenience. God can turn emptiness into hope. Our story is not over. God is still working, right? Moving over to the New Testament, Luke chapter 29 verses, Luke chapter 11 verses 29 to 54. The theme is responding to the light and guarding the heart. Jesus speaks strongly to the crowd and religious leaders. He addresses spiritual blindness, hypocrisy, and the danger of rejecting truth. These passages challenge us with one key idea. It's not about how much light we receive, it's how we respond to it. And verses 29 to 32, the crowd asks for a sign, but Jesus says, "No sign will be given except the sign of Jonah." Just as Jonah was a sign to Nineveh, Jesus is a sign. He points out the people of Nineveh repented to Jonah's message. The Queen of Sheba responded to Solomon's wisdom. But now someone greater than Jonah and Solomon is here, and they are rejecting him. Jesus is the ultimate revelation from God. The problem is not lack of evidence, it's the hardness of heart. When we ignore the truth, we already have more signs. More signs won't change us. Verses 33 to 36, Jesus explains that a lamp is meant to give light. He says the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes is healthy, your whole body is full of light. If not, darkness fills you. Seeing Jesus here is Jesus is the light, but we must receive it. Right? Our inner condition determines whether we walk in light or darkness. So we need to guard our hearts. What we allow in us shapes us, and that is what we need to understand. Verses 37 to 54, Jesus speaks directly to the Pharisees and the lawyers. They focus on the outward cleanliness but ignore the inner corruption. They love status, honor, and recognition. They burden others with rules but do not help them. They reject God's messenger. Jesus pronounced strong warnings against them. Right, Jesus is not impressed by outward religion. He looks at the heart. He calls for sincerity, humility, and true righteousness. God cares more about who we are inside than who we appear outside. And Jesus himself is the greatest sign we need. Spiritual blindness comes from a hardened heart. When we allow into us the lives, what we allow into us shapes our lives. True faith, inward transformation, not outward performance. So Luke, these verses 29 to 54 remind us light has come, but we must receive it. We must respond to it. Jesus invites us to it. We need to open our hearts, walk in truth, live with sincerity. Not just look right, but being right with God. So the question is, are we truly walking in His light or just appearing to it? I hope this encourages you, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Bye.